Welcome everybody. Today we're going to do another holiday fudge. Last year I did 3 different fudges, and then this year I did the old-fashioned chocolate fudge. Today I'm going to do like a Scottish fudge, but it's called a Scottish tablet. And there's all really good rich ingredients in it, milk and sugar and butter. And so what this is going to be, it's going to be a candy fudge that you cook on the stove. You don't have to use a thermometer, but I recommend that you do. That way, if you're making it for the first time, you'll recognize when it's finished, when it's come to the consistency that it needs to be. It needs to heat to 248 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 120 degrees Celsius. So we're going to cook it on the stove, and if you want to use the softball test, you can, where you drop the candy in water, and if you can make it shape to a ball, it's done. But I like to use a thermometer when it's necessary, because this recipe isn't really hard, it's pretty fast. So I think if you like fudge, I think you're really going to like this. I hope you enjoy watching this. These are the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need 4½ cups of granulated sugar. You're going to need 1 cup of whole milk and 6 tablespoons of real butter and a can of sweetened condensed milk. And it's like a 14-ounce can. So I'm going to show you how to make this. I want to start by greasing a pan. Now this one's a 9 by 13. You could do a 9 by 9. It would be a lot thicker. I'm going to use a larger one. You can put parchment paper or wax paper foil. I'm just going to grease it. And after you do that, you're going to put your butter and your milk and your sugar in a large pot or saucepan. You want it large enough because it's going to start boiling up and you don't want it to go above. And if it's a small pot, it will. So I'm going to start by melting the butter first. Then I'm going to add the sugar and then the milk. And then you're going to bring it up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, you're going to turn it down to a medium and let it cook for about 20 minutes approximately. But this thermometer should be 248 before you take it off the stove. So I'm going to melt the butter down first. Okay, now that the butter is melted, I'm going to add our 4½ cups of sugar. And you could add the milk at the same time. It's a cup of whole milk. And it has to be whole milk because it's a very rich fudge, and it won't work if you don't have the full milk, the whole milk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this together, stir all of it together, and after it's all combined, we're going to bring it to a boil. Okay, here it's all combined together, and now we're going to bring it to a boil and get it bubbling. This is important to bring it up to a boil to begin with, because it has to dissolve that sugar and cook at that high temperature. And as soon as it comes up to a boil and we're stirring it constantly, we're going to lower it to a medium heat and stir for about 20 minutes till it gets a caramel color, and it should be reaching that softball temp of 248. So here's your condensed milk. I just added it to this. I forgot that goes in before you bring it to a boil. Now we're going to let it boil. It's starting to boil right now. So you have your condensed milk in here, which you're stirring and combining with everything else. And it's going to start boiling, and we want to bring it to that boil first. And after it comes to a boil, we'll turn it down to medium. And it's going to boil even at medium heat, but we're going to stir it constantly within about 20 minutes. Okay, this is the boil that we were talking about, and it's come to a full boil, which means it has to reach that temperature in order for it to cook properly so that it will set properly. So right now, after it comes to a boil, we're going to turn the temp down to a medium heat and let it boil approximately 20 minutes. We are going to keep stirring this so it doesn't burn, and it will turn a caramel color, and the temp will go up to the softball stage, which is 248. So here it is. It's on a medium heat, and it's just boiling, and you don't have to you just kind of go like this, but you have to stand here and keep an eye on it and kind of stir it lightly like this. You don't have to vigorously stir, because we'll be doing that once we take it off the stove. So it's reached the softball stage and it's nice and caramel color. So we're going to take it off the stove. You can see it's thick. That's how you know it's ready. It's caramel color and thick. Take the thermometer out and we're going to beat this until it starts thickening. And you might want to use your wooden spoon. And it will thicken pretty fast. So once it starts really thickening up, then you're going to pour it in your pan. And some people can use an electric mixer, but the problem with that is it might thicken too fast and you don't have as much control over it. So it's thickened up quite a bit and you can see the edges of the pan. It's set. So this is the time we want to put it in our pan. And it's still very hot, so you do have to be careful. And like I said, you can use any size pan. This will be thinner than as if you used a 9x9 or an 8x8. But you can see the color. This is the color it's supposed to be. And anyway, on the edges of the pot, you can see where it's kind of set. It's a fudge set. That's how you know it's ready. So you're just going to kind of spread it out like this. And I used a longer, larger pan. This is a 9x13. Whatever you want. And now I'm going to refrigerate this. You don't have to. You could keep it out. I'm going to leave it out for a little bit and then I'm going to refrigerate it a few hours. So we'll see you back. Okay. So just like I like to do when I make chocolate fudge, I like to scrape the pot. You can do that with this too. You can scrape it. This is the consistency that you're always looking for with fudge. It's not grainy, but it's just a really specific type of consistency. This is very like almost like a dulce leche, if you've ever had. It's really good. It will have a mild graininess, but not real strong because it's been cooked how it's supposed to be. So we're gonna wait for this to set and we'll be back to taste it. A good idea to do when it's not completely set, you just take a little knife or a big knife and you just kind of cut it. Not all the way through, but it'll be easier once it's done and set to kind of cut through it. And if you do that when it's still warm, it makes it much easier. Okay, here it is. This is delicious. It is really good. And this is very similar to old-fashioned fudge. The consistency of it, it's pretty much the same, only the best way to describe it, it's like a caramel fudge. And you don't add vanilla. You could add vanilla, you could add brandy, you could add different flavorings if you wanted, but it would take away from the natural Scottish tablet or Scottish fudge. It's like a caramel type of flavor, but an old-fashioned fudge consistency, which is what I absolutely love. So let's give it a try. I have some down here. This is fantastic. It makes a lot. And if you see how thick this is, I don't know that you would want to make a smaller pan and have it double the thickness. This is just right. So if you like fudge and you like that old-fashioned consistency, this is fantastic. It's really delicious. And it really didn't take 20 minutes for it to reach that boiling point. It took probably 10 minutes. And I didn't absolutely have to refrigerate it at all. And I left it out for about 20 minutes and I refrigerated it for about 40 minutes and that was fine. If it's really cold, you don't even need to refrigerate it, depending on the temperature of your house. So I hope you give this a try. I think you'll love it. And thank you so much for watching.